Another highlight. I reached out to a bakery known for their over-the-top custom designs. I gave them a sketch of what I wanted, a 3-tiered masterpiece with a masquerade theme. The bottom layer would have intricate mask designs in gold and black, the middle would feature edible lace, and the top would have a sugar sculpture of a mask. It was definitely expensive, but I couldn't resist. The only hiccup was when the bakery called to say their decorator was sick, and they might need to adjust the design. I scrambled to find another bakery as a backup, but thankfully they managed to pull through. About 3 weeks into planning, I hit my first major setback. The venue canceled. Apparently they'd double booked and given the priority to a corporate event. I panicked for about an hour before diving back into research. Luckily, I found another spot, a rooftop terrace that overlooked the same skyline. It wasn't exactly what I'd envisioned, but it was gorgeous in its own way. The owner even threw in some extras like string lights and heaters since it would be a chilly evening. With that crisis averted, I focused on the guest list. Initially, I'd planned for about 30 people, but word started spreading. Friends were asking if they could bring plus ones, and a couple of coworkers hinted they'd love to come. Before I knew it, the list had grown to 50. I wasn't thrilled about the extra cost, but I couldn't say no. The more the merrier, right? I ordered personalized invitations with a wax seal and mailed them out. Everything was starting to come together. As the details came together, my family started noticing I was busier than usual. My mom mentioned that I hadn't been visiting as often, and my dad asked why I seemed distracted. I dodged their questions, saying I had a lot going on at work. My mom tried the guilt route, saying she missed having the whole family together and that I should make more of an effort to come around. I let her comments roll off my back and kept my focus on the party. My younger brother, though, was more persistent. He started hovering whenever I was on my laptop or checking my phone, asking what I was up to. I caught him trying to peek at my messages once, but I shut that down quickly. It felt like he suspected something, but without any details, he couldn't connect the dots. By this point, I'd already spent more than I'd budgeted, but I kept telling myself it was worth it. I added party favors, custom masks, and mini bottles of champagne, and hired a professional photographer to document the night. Every time an RSVP came in, I felt a little more justified in my decision to leave my family out of it. These were the people who cared about me, who wanted to celebrate with me. That was all that mattered. As the weeks passed, the excitement kept building. My friends would text me every day, asking about updates and sharing their own plans for the party. It was starting to feel bigger than I'd ever imagined, and for the first time in years, I felt like my birthday would finally be something worth remembering. It all started with a single tag. A friend posted an Instagram story while helping me finalize decorations and accidentally tagged me. I didn't even notice until the next morning, when my phone was blowing up with notifications. Buried between the congratulatory messages from friends were a few texts from my younger brother, asking what I was planning and why he wasn't invited. I ignored him at first, hoping he'd drop it, but by lunchtime, he was calling repeatedly. I finally picked up, and he wasted no time demanding answers. He'd seen the Instagram story and figured out that I was throwing a big event. His tone quickly shifted from curiosity to indignation when I told him it was a private party for friends, not family. He insisted that I explain why the family wasn't invited, but I stayed calm, repeating that it wasn't about them. Before hanging up, he warned me, "Mom and Dad aren't going to like this." By the end of the day, my parents were involved. They called me back to back, leaving voicemails that grew angrier with each one. When I finally answered, my mom immediately launched into a tirade about how disrespectful it was to exclude the family from a milestone event. My dad chimed in, accusing me of being ungrateful and saying I was making them look bad. They demanded to know why they weren't on the guest list. I calmly reminded them of all the birthdays they'd forgotten over the years. I told them about the 1-cupcake parties my aunt threw, about the countless times they celebrated my siblings while ignoring me, and how they completely missed my 25th birthday after I'd reminded them several times. Their reaction? Gaslighting. My mom claimed I was blowing things out of proportion and rewriting history. My dad said they'd always done their best, even though their best apparently didn't include remembering my birthday. I ended the call before it escalated further. The fallout didn't stop there. My cousin texted me later that night, saying my mom had called her to vent. She said my parents were heartbroken and confused, painting themselves as victims in the situation. The cousin tried to mediate, asking me to reconsider and let the family come. I thanked her for her concern but made it clear that my decision was final. Meanwhile, my friends were incredible. When I told them about the calls and texts, they reassured me that I had every right to set boundaries. One friend even sent me a voice note reminding me of all the times my family let me down, saying, "This party is for you. Don't let them ruin it." Hearing that gave me the strength to hold my ground. Things escalated further when my parents sent me an email. It was long, guilt-ridden, and full of phrases like tearing the family apart and "how could you do this to us?" They even hinted that they might show up uninvited, which felt more like a threat than an offer. I replied with a short, unemotional email, saying I wouldn't change my plans and that showing up uninvited would only cause unnecessary drama. A day later, my brother took things public. He posted a long rant on Facebook, accusing me of being selfish and attention-seeking. He wrote that I was putting friends before family and embarrassing our parents. Mutual acquaintances started chiming in, some siding with him, while others defended me. I didn't want to engage, so I blocked him and my parents on social media altogether. It felt drastic, but I needed to protect my peace. Amidst the chaos, I got a surprise that completely lifted my spirits. An old mentor from college RSVP'd to the party. She'd been a huge influence on me during a difficult time in my life, and hearing that she wanted to come meant the world to me. Her message was full of excitement, and it reminded me of why I was doing this in the first place, to celebrate with people who genuinely cared about me. Despite my family's constant guilt-tripping, I felt more confident than ever in my decision. My parents tried one last tactic, sending another email framed as an apology but filled with backhanded comments. They wrote about how families always have ups and downs, and that it was my responsibility to keep us together. I didn't take the bait. My reply was brief: "Thank you for your email. My decision remains the same." With just a week to go, the party was all I could think about. RSVPs were finalized, decorations were ready, and my friends were just as excited as I was. I felt a mix of nervousness and exhilaration. My family's reaction was a mess, but their absence at this party wasn't just a choice, it was a statement. For the first time, I was putting myself first. This year, my birthday was truly about me. The night of the party finally arrived. The venue was everything I'd hoped it would be, and more. The rooftop terrace was transformed into a dazzling masquerade ball. String lights crisscrossed above, casting a soft glow over the city skyline. Tables were draped in deep emerald and gold, with centerpieces of feathers and candles that fit the theme perfectly. Guests began arriving around 7 p.m., dressed in formal attire and wearing their custom masks. Some of my friends had gone all out with their outfits, adding to the atmosphere. The moment people stepped in, their reactions made all the effort worth it. Everyone was taking photos, complimenting the setup, and saying how much they'd been looking forward to the night. By 8 p.m., the venue was buzzing with energy. The DJ played upbeat music as more guests arrived. I had hired a photographer who floated around capturing candid shots of everyone laughing, mingling, and admiring the decor. It felt surreal seeing so many people, all here to celebrate with me. One of my friends handed me a glass of champagne and jokingly reminded me to give a speech. I kept it short but heartfelt, thanking everyone for coming and saying how much it meant to me. For the first time, I felt truly celebrated. As the night unfolded, my friends surprised me with something I hadn't planned: a live band. A close friend had secretly arranged it as a gift, and they started playing just after my speech. Everyone gathered around to watch, cheering and clapping to the music. The band's energy was infectious, and soon people were dancing. Even I couldn't resist joining in. It was one of those moments that felt straight out of a movie, where everything just clicks. Then came the cake. When the servers wheeled it out, there were audible gasps. The three-tiered masterpiece looked even better than I'd imagined. The intricate gold and black mask designs, edible lace, and sugar sculpture at the top were stunning. Everyone crowded around, snapping photos as I cut the first slice. A friend jokingly tried to help by pretending to steal the top tier, and we all burst out laughing. It was a small moment, but it felt so genuine and full of joy. The high point of the night quickly turned chaotic. Around 9:30 p.m., one of the security guards I'd hired approached me with a serious expression. My parents and younger brother had shown up at the entrance, demanding to be let in. They claimed they were family and had a right to be there. The guard stuck to the instructions I'd given him. No family was allowed in without my approval, and came to check with me. I told him to politely but firmly deny them entry. Minutes later, I could hear the commotion from outside. My mom was yelling, accusing me of being ungrateful and cruel. My dad joined in, saying I was ruining the family's reputation. My brother, not to be outdone, shouted that I was selfish for excluding them. Guests inside started noticing the noise, and a few peeked out to see what was going on. I stayed calm and told the security team to handle it. They eventually called the building's management, who threatened to involve the police if my family didn't leave. Reluctantly, they stormed off, but not before my mom yelled, "You'll regret this." Afterward, a few friends came up to check on me. One joked that I should get an award for the most dramatic family drama of the year, which made me laugh. Another friend gave me a hug and said, "This just proves you made the right decision." Hearing that helped me shake off the awkwardness and refocus on the party. The DJ turned the music up, and the energy in the room picked right back up. The rest of the night was everything I'd hoped it would be. We had an epic photo shoot with the skyline in the background. The photographer captured stunning moments, friends laughing, dancing, and enjoying themselves. I even got a few solo shots in my dress, which made me feel like a celebrity. By the time the dance floor really got going, I'd completely forgotten about the drama outside. Everyone was having such a good time, and the mood was contagious. As the party wound down, people started handing me gifts. A close friend gave me a scrapbook filled with photos and memories from over the years, and it brought tears to my eyes. Another friend gifted me a custom journal with a quote about self-love on the cover. Every gift felt thoughtful and personal, reminding me how much these people cared about me. By midnight, the venue started to empty out. Guests hugged me goodbye, telling me how amazing the party had been and how much they'd enjoyed themselves. Standing on the terrace, looking out at the city lights, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace. For the first time, my birthday wasn't overshadowed by disappointment. I know the fallout from my family is far from over. They're not the type to let this go quietly, and I'm bracing myself for the aftermath. But for now, all I can focus on is how much love and support I have from the people who truly matter. This night wasn't just a celebration of my birthday, it was a reminder that I'm surrounded by people who actually care about me. The morning after the party, my phone blew up again, but this time it wasn't just friends. Photos and videos from the event had started circulating on social media. Friends tagged me in posts with captions like "Best Party of the Year" and "So much fun at the masquerade bash." While most of the comments were positive, a few mutual acquaintances asked why my family wasn't there. I knew this was going to get back to my parents, and it didn't take long. By midday, my inbox was flooded with angry texts and voicemails. My mom accused me of humiliating the family by having such an extravagant party without them. My dad demanded to know how I could exclude them after everything they've done for me. They painted themselves as victims, making it seem like I'd deliberately set out to embarrass them. I didn't respond. I knew there was no point in arguing with people who refused to take accountability for years of neglect.